Hello, my name is Anu.
I'm Anoushka.
And today we're going to be talking about where to draw the line between feminists and feminazis. So to you, what do you think a feminazi is?
I feel like the whole point of feminism is that you respect a woman's choice, whether it be the choice to not be a feminist or to be a feminist. And I think the idea of feminazi stems from the idea of, a feminist who does not respect that choice. And I think respecting that choice is very important. And I think drawing the line between that is, how do you respect another female's choice without, even if they don't disagree with you, or even if they don't agree with you.
So like on places like social media or when you like protest marches or whatever, you see feminazis are super extreme. And they kind of hate on regular feminists for being like, oh, they don't care enough about issues. So what do you think about that? Do you think they like exert their opinions too hard on other people?
Yeah, I think that is definitely part of a problem with the current feminist movement, is that you have a group of very well-meaning people that do want to tackle real issues, but they end up getting caught up in the smaller stuff. And I think it's also kind of a problem that the entire feminist movement is being labeled as feminazi, because if you are able to discredit the group as a whole, you're able to ignore the issues that are actually affecting women along with the smaller issues.
So it's interesting you say that, because people get so caught up in feminazis and people think that feminism is only feminazis now.
Yeah.
And there's no credit or there's no seriousness when people talk about feminism.
Yeah.
So how do you think that, because feminism is obviously still an issue that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
But because of all these people that are being so extreme about it, there's no seriousness to it. So how do you think that, what do you think about that?
I think that definitely the feminist movement in 2019 has to kind of figure out what their key goals are as a movement. How are we going to push through sexual harassment? How are we going to allow legal, safe access to abortion? I think those are some of the key issues that we're dealing with. Harassment in the workplace. I feel like those are the issues we need to be focusing on rather than, the small nitpicky details. But I definitely feel like we as a society are falling into the trap of allowing ourselves to be caught up in this kind of feminazi kind of idea of all feminists are extreme and they want to take over the world. And at its core, feminism is about respecting a woman's choice, as well as equality for all genders, right? So yeah.
Right. And where do you think, at what point in, like, when society was moving forward, at what point do you think that feminazis became more prominent and, like, there were more feminazis than feminists?
I'm not entirely sure about that, because when we're looking at history, there's always been kind of this idea of feminism being a very extreme thing. So I think and that extremism has shifted. So what may have been extreme in the 60s wave of feminism may not be extreme to us right now, or vice versa. I think feminazism, has become kind of more prominent in the past decade or so. Or as a term.
And some people think that the reason there are feminazis is because women have too many rights now. So what do you think about that?
That is a very, very problematic way of thinking, I think. Feminism is women's right to choose. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with allowing a woman to choose. I think we all need to learn how to respect that a woman is a human being. She is a person. She is able to make her own decisions, and she has as much complexity as a man. Like, women aren't a monolith, as we're not just all the same. We're all very, very different people. And I think one thing that feminism needs to push more is that we as women are unified in our fight for rights, but we're also very, very different people.
So in your environment, in your direct environment, and in your direct society, have you seen people who are feminazis, and how do you, like, have you seen that, and like, what is the reaction to that? What is your reaction to that?
I think I've seen cases in which men, especially young men who are our age, end up getting scared away from the feminist movement because they're afraid of, messing with a feminazi's idea of what is right and what isn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think men need to be feminists as much as women are, and especially as Gen Zers, Gen Z men have to be as involved as women are. And I think the problem with extreme feminism is that it's scaring these men away from a movement that is so politically and socially important and that could do so much good.
Mm-hmm. So there's this notion that as men try to suppress or ignore feminism, and that it's like obviously it's happening around them and things are changing around them. Mm-hmm. So the more they try to suppress that, or the more they try to ignore that, the more feminazis there are, and the more that women feel like compelled to like push the movement, and that's where feminazis come from. So do you agree with that, or?
That's a very, very interesting idea. I actually haven't heard that before, but I think that could very possibly be a thing. It's definitely a very complex movement. I feel like feminism is this growing dynamic thing that has been building up over the centuries since Seneca Falls to become what it is today. And I think, I feel like that would be a part of it. It's the institutionalized oppression that women face that has spurred on the feminazi movement, definitely.
So in the future, how do you think that we can distinguish and draw a line between feminism and feminazis moving forward with all these new movements and new ideas and new policies being made? How do you think we go forward from here as a society?
I would like us to focus as a movement on respecting the choices of women. For example, there's this whole debate within women whether it's feminist to wear the hijab, right? Religious item of clothing. And I think part of being a feminist is to respect that woman's choice to wear this religious article. But it's also to respect the choice of a woman who does not wear that article. And I think the problem, again, with feminazism is that they're unable to make that connection with freedom of choice for women. And that means women that perhaps don't agree with them socially. And I think that's where the feminism movement has to work towards.
So a lot of people are focused on like the man versus woman point of view, but what about women versus women? How do you think we go into that?
I think society has kind of set women up to have conflicts with each other so men can get on top. Like, it's definitely like we need to focus on being united so that we can get over the collective oppression that we face. The whole conflict between women and women is very artificial because in the end we all have a similar experience, and the only group of people that is benefiting from our own internal conflicts is the people in power. And so I feel like we do need to work around that.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
And thank you so much for watching.